Welcome to Headphone News, Greater Vancouver edition for Tuesday, November 19, 2024.
Canucks fall to Predators 5-3. The Vancouver Canucks endured a tough loss against the Nashville Predators at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, with a final score of 5-3. JT Miller experienced a significant drop in ice time, logging only 11 minutes and 41 seconds on the ice, marking his lowest since joining the team. Canucks initially took the lead at 2-1 in the second period, but the Predators rallied back quickly, scoring 3 key goals that shifted the momentum. With this defeat, the Canucks now hold a home record of 3 wins and 4 losses this season. Looking ahead, the team prepares to face off against the New York Rangers, aiming to bounce back from this disappointing result.
Winter weather and storm alert for British Columbia. The lower mainland of British Columbia is facing its first major snowfall of the winter season. Snow totals range from 25 to 35 centimeters, especially impacting the North Shore ski hills. Meteorologists from 1130 News Radio report that a powerful winter storm is developing with the potential to become a weather bomb due to a significant drop in atmospheric pressure. Winds may exceed 100 kilometers per hour in several areas. Environment and Climate Change Canada warns residents to prepare for possible power outages and travel delays in the coming days. Drivers and locals should stay updated on weather forecasts and secure loose outdoor items.
Severe weather alert for British Columbia. A bomb cyclone is set to impact the coast of British Columbia, Canada, starting Tuesday evening and lasting into Wednesday morning. Wind gusts could reach as high as 100 kilometers per hour on Vancouver Island and 90 kilometers per hour in Victoria. Residents have been warned about the potential for downed trees, power outages, and travel delays. A snowfall warning is also in effect for the Coquihalla Highway, with 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected. Drivers should take precautions and secure any loose outdoor items ahead of this severe weather.
Increase in Canadian housing starts for October 2024. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation has reported an 8% increase in housing starts for October 2024. The seasonally adjusted annualized rate reached 240,761 units, up from 223,391 in September. This growth shows rising demand for residential properties, with builders starting more multi-unit and single-family homes. Economists had expected a smaller rise to 240,000 units. This surge in housing starts reflects a robust real estate market and positive economic conditions across Canada, indicating that favorable factors continue to support the housing sector.
Highway 1 Pileup east of Calgary. A significant vehicle pileup took place on Highway 1 east of Calgary, Alberta, leading to a road closure. The crash involved at least 12 vehicles and occurred in the westbound lanes after 10:30 a.m. today. Emergency crews arrived quickly to manage the situation. There is currently no information regarding any injuries. The pileup was exacerbated by recent snowfall, which created hazardous driving conditions and resulted in over 150 crashes reported in Calgary from midnight to noon. Motorists are urged to avoid the area and use Highway 56 as a detour.
Pro Women's Hockey League launches Takeover Tour. The Pro Women's Hockey League, known as the PWHL, has launched a new initiative called the Takeover Tour. This tour will showcase games in several cities across Canada and the United States, including Vancouver in British Columbia and Quebec City in Quebec, along with Raleigh, North Carolina, and Buffalo, New York. The tour kicks off on January 5, 2025. Each of the 6 teams in the league will compete in at least 2 neutral site games as part of this initiative. The goal is to raise the profile of women's hockey and attract a larger audience. The PWHL is also considering expansion by adding new teams by the year 2026.
Pedestrians injured in separate accidents in British Columbia. On November 18, 2024, 2 pedestrians were struck by vehicles in different accidents in British Columbia, Canada. The first incident occurred at 5 p.m. near Lougheed Highway and Hastings Street in Port Coquitlam. Emergency services arrived quickly, and one pedestrian was transported to the hospital in serious condition. The second incident took place at 7 p.m. on Lougheed Highway near Burnett Street in Maple Ridge. Local police, including the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, found emergency responders attending to a woman who was injured in that accident. She was also taken to the hospital, and her injuries were later reported as non-life-threatening. These incidents have raised concerns regarding pedestrian safety in the area.
Sentencing begins for double murder in British Columbia. Wade Cudmore, a 35-year-old from Naramata, British Columbia, is set for sentencing after being convicted of the double murder of brothers Eric and Carlo Fryer. The killings occurred during a drug deal on May 10, 2021. The sentencing hearing began on November 18, 2024, with family members of the Fryer brothers sharing emotional statements about their loss. The Crown prosecutor seeks life sentences without parole for 18 years, while the defense argues for 12 years before parole eligibility. This case highlights the ongoing issues with drug-related violence and the lasting impact of such tragedies on affected families.
Calgary living wage increase. Calgary's living wage has increased to 24.45 Canadian dollars per hour, which is nearly 10 Canadian dollars above the provincial minimum wage. This rise comes from a recent report by Vibrant Communities Calgary and the Alberta Living Wage Network. The report reveals that many residents face financial difficulties due to high costs for housing and food. Despite some government programs aimed at reducing expenses for childcare and electricity, these measures do not fully address the escalating living expenses. Calgarians spend between 3,300 and 4,500 Canadian dollars more on shelter each year compared to those living in Edmonton. Families are saving about 2,000 Canadian dollars on childcare and around 1,500 Canadian dollars on power costs thanks to recent initiatives. Currently, nearly 150 workplaces across Alberta, including 50 in Calgary, are committed to paying a living wage to their employees.
Doctors open unofficial overdose prevention sites in British Columbia. Doctors on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, have opened unofficial overdose prevention sites at Nanaimo General Hospital and Royal Jubilee Hospital in Victoria. This action follows the British Columbia government's failure to fulfill its promise to establish official sites at hospitals. The aim of these doctors is to save lives amid a growing crisis of drug overdoses. Healthcare professionals have voiced strong frustration over the lack of government support. These sites are opening during a crucial time when people receive social assistance payments, which is often the most dangerous day for drug users. By providing these locations, doctors hope to reduce overdose deaths and improve the health of the community.
Prince Harry promotes Invictus Games in Vancouver. On November 19, 2024, Prince Harry played sitting volleyball with school children in Vancouver, British Columbia. This event followed his surprise appearance at the Grey Cup, a major Canadian football championship. The visit aimed to promote the Invictus Games, a sporting event for wounded veterans, set to take place from February 8 to 16, 2024. The Games will feature athletes from 23 countries and include winter sports for the first time. During the school event, Prince Harry launched an educational program for students, focusing on the Invictus Games and its mission to support veterans. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim and Invictus Games officials attended, highlighting the importance of recognizing the achievements of service members.
Cargo plane incident at Vancouver Airport. A cargo plane operated by Amazon Prime Air ran off the runway at Vancouver International Airport in British Columbia, Canada, in the early hours of November 19, 2024, around 1:45 a.m. The Boeing 767 aircraft overran the north runway during landing, leading to the closure of that runway for approximately 48 hours. All 3 crew members aboard were evacuated safely, and there were no injuries reported. YVR Fire and Rescue responded swiftly to the scene. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will conduct an investigation into the incident. Passengers are encouraged to check flight statuses with their airlines during this runway closure.
Runway closure at Vancouver Airport. A cargo jet cargo plane overran a runway at Vancouver International Airport in British Columbia, Canada, on November 19, 2024. The incident took place at around 1:45 a.m. local time. Fortunately, all 3 crew members on board exited the aircraft safely without any injuries. The north runway is expected to remain closed for about 48 hours, which may disrupt flight schedules. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is investigating the cause of the runway overrun. Travelers at Vancouver International Airport are advised to check with their airlines for the latest flight updates.
TC Energy projects growth with higher core profit forecast. TC Energy, a prominent energy company in Canada, forecasts a core profit of 10.7 billion Canadian dollars to 10.9 billion Canadian dollars for 2025, surpassing the earlier estimate for 2024 of 9.9 billion Canadian dollars to 10.1 billion Canadian dollars. This optimistic outlook is driven by increasing demand for natural gas and electricity. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reports that natural gas consumption in the United States is expected to reach a record 90 billion cubic feet per day in 2024. Additionally, TC Energy plans to invest 1.5 billion Canadian dollars in new projects centered around natural gas and nuclear power generation. The Southeast Gateway Pipeline, which will transport natural gas to Mexico, is projected to cost between 3.9 billion Canadian dollars and 4.1 billion Canadian dollars. These initiatives reflect a significant shift towards natural gas in the energy sector.
Severe weather warning for British Columbia. Forecasters have issued a warning for a bomb cyclone developing off the coast of Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. This storm could bring winds of up to 120 kilometers per hour. Residents are urged to prepare for possible power outages and disruptions to services, including BC ferries. This cyclone follows another major windstorm that hit the area just a week ago, affecting hundreds of thousands of people. Experts express growing concern about how climate change might lead to more frequent severe weather events in British Columbia.
That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's headphone news. News summary brought to you by AI.